Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Speak, Film, and Enter, a podcast where we review and rank movies. I'm Nate.
And I'm Dylan.
And I'm Adam.
And today is the first day of a little segment we're doing called The 12 Days of Christmas, and this will be for the YouTube audience only.
You're special. We appreciate you.
Very, very special. So what we're going to do here is this is not meant to be a top 12 list of our counting down our favorite Christmas movies. It's not meant to be in any kind of order. These are just 12 movies or specials that we felt like watching this holiday season, often ones that we return to over and over, a lot of ones from our youth, that we just wanted to spend 10 to 15 minutes each day leading up to Christmas Eve and sharing and talking about a little bit.
Yeah.
So we are going to be kicking this off with the Netflix special from Aardman Animation Studios, Shaun the Sheep, The Flight Before Christmas, which just came out in 2021, I believe. Yeah, it just came out last December, so it's very new. It's about a year old, and I think this is a fun one to kick off with because I did just recommend it for the family movie for our monthly recommendations episode. You can go check out that for other recommendations if you haven't seen it yet. But I'm a big fan of Aardman and their claymation style with Wallace and Gromit and Chicken Run. And Shaun the Sheep is the one that I feel like kind of gets mentioned less than the others and is maybe my favorite of the Aardman stuff. And I thought this was just as delightful and heartwarming as all the other Shaun the Sheep stuff.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I feel like the Shaun the Sheep stuff is very consistent. It's always charming and funny and interesting to look at because it's Aardman, and also it's just kind of not in a bad way, but it's just kind of a simple watch. It's just it's not as heavy as a lot of the things that we review on this podcast. I mean, me and Nate just sat down and watched Jean Dielman, which is 3.5 hours long, for a French movie about a lady who does her daily routine and her chores all day. And then there's something like this, where it's like, no, you don't really have to pay attention to the details like that. It's just a fun, simple, just a fun time. And I felt like that was delivered on those fronts as well.
I think the most interesting part about this is just how it looks, and then the physical gags they can do with the animation. Like there's a cork that shoots off at one spot, and the dog that's wearing a hat, he ducks, but the hat stays there, and the cork goes between. It's just like little humor like that. There's little jokes all over the place, and it's all visual because there's no dialogue besides like noises that the sheep make. And stuff. That's great. It's just like, oh, you can throw it on and like have it just happen.
Yeah, or the grunts of the farmer. Those always make me laugh. Like there's something about it where they're just sort of like winking at us that like, no, he can't talk.
Yeah.
And so even like, did you notice that there was like the sign that they find when the baby sheep goes missing that tells them where he's going to be, like where they're driving to?
Oh,
and it's not in like actual words.
No.
Because there's no speaking, so then you don't get anything to like read either, which I thought was a really funny touch because it just fits in the same type of like that you get from the farmer. And we should say too, these aren't going to be regular reviews. We're just going to talk about kind of what we like about them, our favorite moments, if it's something that we'll be returning to, and anything that we're talking about here, just take it as a recommendation.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
We think these are all good and worth watching. So I really like that you guys brought up the look of it. I just love the look of the snow in this. It just fits the kind of heartwarming holiday season type of inviting snow that looks so nice. And every time with like stop motion, claymation specifically with Aardman, they just, in everything I watch, they do something that makes me think, how did they do that?
Right?
Yeah.
I had the thing that made me think of that is at one point the dog gets frozen in water, so he's like a block of ice, and at some point like his mouth and stuff is moving so he can like try to talk because a bird like lands on his nose and he sneezes and he like moves, but like how did they get his mouth and stuff to move while he's encased in a block of like what's probably like resin or something like that, right? And then he gets shocked at some point too and he like glows, and it's like that had to be a really fun little prop to make, and then be like, all right, here we go, click 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 click, click, and be like, like in film.
I felt the same way. That shot when he's already in the block of ice and then he gets electrocuted was very much like, oh wow, like
Like really flexing their muscles here.
Yeah, they're flexing right now.
Yeah, I laughed really hard. I mean, it was funny when he was trying to find ways to like melt the ice or break the ice, but then like the ice just breaks the sidewalk.
Yep.
Yeah, and then he goes into the hot tub, and instead of the hot water melting the ice just freezes the hot tub. But my favorite part of that whole gag was then the next time you see him, he is now no longer a block of ice. He's a block, and then like he's got like a hula hoop,
a base, like a huge base,
a base of it's like a different shape because he brought the hot tub shaped water with him. Like that was really funny. I really like kind of the way that they set up the sort of crappy, like I don't know what he was making, like cider or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say the cider, the way that looked too was very like there's one point where he has it like on a spoon and he's like gonna have the dog try it, and just the look of it like bubbling on the spoon. I was just like, what it's like how'd they make that? Like what actually is that stuff?
It looks like what Pop Rocks feel like.
Yeah.
In your mouth. I was like, how the hell did that get to be like a crystallized, like it looks like it's moving the entire time? I thought it was really funny the moment when the townsfolk are kind of after that the farmer who's made this concoction, and it hits like the cork hits the band, and they're like somebody ties like tinsel around their head as if they're like gonna go find him, and like they take the trombone and they cock the trombone like a shotgun. And
I
just
love
like,
that gag.
So great.
I loved that. That made me laugh so.
It was great.
There's just so many great visual gags, and the family in this I think is like brand new for Shaun the Sheep stuff. They're not in like either of the two movies, and I've only seen like a handful of the actual episodes, but I think they're just brand new for this special. And I think it works really well. They got like kind of the almost like power parents who are like on top of all the like they're probably both on the PTA, and they're very good at like presentation.
They've got like the smart house with all the devices and stuff, and
I think it's they're on social media, like everything that they're doing, they're posting it to get like likes and stuff. So I think it was like just the right amount of like kind of social commentary, kind of let's get away from technology, and the spirit of Christmas is actually just being together. And I thought that was just enough of like real life theme to go with the Shaun the Sheep shenanigans.
Yeah.
Shaun of the Sheep.
Shaun of the Sheep.
Sheep of the Shaun.
That sounds like an A24 movie.
Yeah. That isn't about sheep.
Right. Not at all.
He's an accountant at a large firm. No.
I like the look of this. I really like what happens with the little girl and the baby sheep that just like was obsessed with Santa Claus and ended up kind of like unwittingly caught in this thing and then ends up at this house. And kind of the gags there were like the baby's mom, like where she kind of rolls up her wool is really funny.
And the one sheep that has like Christmas underwear that you see. Like long johns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's always really good. And just the girl is really funny, I think. Like they do a good job of kind of like she's a little kid and she's someone you should like and feel for when maybe her parents aren't giving her quite as much attention as they should. But then she's also kind of like a danger to the sheep because she doesn't really understand, and she's sort of like terrorizing them and chasing them in her like alligator costume, which is a really funny bit. Like when they try to bar the door and then she just pops up through a hole in the floor. Like that made me laugh really hard.
It felt very much. It felt like an homage to like Home Alone. There's another scene where the dog goes like flying through the air with a snowman, and that's another homage to that really really old, like it's like 80s or something, animated like 20-minute Christmas thing. It's called the Snowman. So like I thought a couple of those things, those gags, like where they go to like they're going down that string of lights to the treehouse, like that's Home Alone. Like all of that felt like you're paying homage to all these things and doing it in your own way, and I thought it was really cool. I also love this classic
and a lot of the classic Aardman gags, like what they're able to pull off with just like the eyes and like the expression of the eyes. Like it never gets old. And I watched this with somebody who had never seen not only Shaun the Sheep, but Wallace and Gromit or like Chicken Run was the only thing, and they thought this was delightful and was
how can you not?
Yeah, how can you not? How can you not just kind of watch it with a smile on your face
for 30 minutes?
Yeah.
That's the other thing. It's new, so it's like it's fun to throw like a new tradition or a new something into your your routine of all the other ones we're about to talk about in our
Oh
12
yeah.
Days of Christmas.
Mhm.
It's short. It's only 30 minutes. It's just a special. It's
Mhm.
not hard to just have on and just be like, oh, we'll check it out.
Yeah, I think
So really enjoyed
if
it.
you're watching this and you have kind of the normal run of specials that you put on for the family every Christmas, I think this is a worthy one to at least give it a shot. I mean, especially if like the older ones like the Rudolph and stuff. I mean, it's already kind of like stop motion. This is just it's updated, it's modern. The jokes are kind of always flying at you. There's some details that are like just that adults are going to get, and some that are just like for the kids. And I just thought it was really well done, and I think it was a very enjoyable Christmassy 30 minutes, and I'm glad that I checked it out.
Yeah, and then kind of put you guys on the spot here, but I just thought this would be a fun thing to do for every. What was your favorite moment?
Ooh, I mean, when Adam brought up the block of ice stuff, that was
Yeah.
pretty good. I liked that. I also really liked when the sheep when they have to make their way through town and they keep
Yeah.
like congealing into a snowman
Yeah.
shape and then
Yep.
spreading out again. Like they do it like 3 times and it made me chuckle every time. I just think it's just so clever. So probably those two gags. And also I liked the ending. I thought the ending was a good classic, end on a heartwarming note. I just thought it was very well done. But those are probably my two favorite gags.
Yeah, the ingenuity of the end sleigh bit. I don't want to ruin any of that.
Mhm.
But I thought that was really cool how they made that work. Obviously we talked about the dog in the ice. And then I think it's a very short gag, but they start off with like a rooster crowing in the morning and it's replaced by a turkey. And and like the gobble. I just thought that was really funny. I was like, okay, here we go. It just set the tone immediately of like we're gonna be a little crazy, a little zany. So cool.
For me, I think it's when the baby sheep is now like being played with by the girl for the first time and, like, and realizes that it needs to pretend to be a toy, and she's like not satisfied with it just being like sort of a doll that doesn't do anything. So it just gives like a little like when she squeezes it, and then she's
like
happy
a little
and he's
dance
just like,
move.
okay, I'm safe.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, that one gets me every time.
I also the gag when the farmer, because he goes down to sell his cider and he's dressed as Santa, when he gets stuck in the tent with all the kids, and it's just this one shot where he's trying to crawl away, and then they drag him back, and it's like the fingernails in the snow.
Yeah. All right. I think that should wrap it up for the first of our 12 Days of Christmas. We hope you enjoyed this, and look out for 11 more little mini reviews to come.
Indeed. And Adam, I believe it's your turn to put a wrap on this day one of our 12 Days of Christmas.
Yeah. All we're going to do is just say thank you very much for watching this year and have a happy holiday.